And welcome back. Right now we're in the kitchen with Chef Deepa from the Indian Table. And I don't know what we're making. I can't remember the name, but I know that this garlic butter is amazing. I'm just smelling the whiff of it. So tell me about the naan and how we're going to do it.
Okay, so we're going to make naan breads today. Typically when we eat them in the restaurant, they're made in a fired clay oven. And I've tried over the years to try and replicate this flavor and texture at home, and I think I've found the secret that we can do at home. So what we're going to use is we're using a cast iron pan, because I don't know any houses that have a tandoor oven. But this can be heated to high temperatures, and it retains the heat as well, and it will give us the charred, scored finish that we find and love in naan breads. So we'll get started. So first of all, I'll go through the ingredients with you. It's a very easy and simple dough, quite sticky, so you be prepared to wash your hands afterwards, of course. So the recipe's on the website, but here we go. So we have our plain flour here, it's a cup of white flour, and then we have some yeast, so we can put that in. Yep. And then we have some baking powder.
Baking powder.
Yep. And then we have some sugar and salt.
Sugar and salt.
So what we'll do, we'll take a break and we'll get a fork, and we'll whisk the dry ingredients together with a fork. It's right there.
Whisk.
Whisk, whisk, whisk.
Good job, Nate.
Excellent whisking.
He's an actor. He's just pretending.
Brilliant. So then what we do, we would add the oil, the tablespoon of canola oil.
There we go.
Yep.
Oil.
And in that jug is a mixture of water and milk. In the jug, yes.
Oh,
so we'd pour that in, and then what we would do is we would use a fork and bring it together into a dough.
And stir.
And it is a sticky dough. I presume you don't want to get your fingers dirty at this point. But for our viewers at home, what you would do is you'd bring it together, you leave it to rise in a covered container for a couple of hours. This will yield about four pieces of delicious naan bread. So of course, true TV style.
Yes.
Some that we made earlier.
Oh, wow.
2 hours later.
Yes. So you can see how I've split it into 4 pieces. And what will happen is it will rise again, and I've floured the surface.
It will rise again. Okay.
So we're making fresh bread here, guys. I mean, there's nothing better than that,
Yes.
right?
Okay.
So,
Is this supposed to be boiling before I ruin it?
no, you're fine. It's
Okay.
good.
I knew something wasn't right.
So how do we go from the balls of dough into the flat
Okay,
naan?
so I have my fantastic volunteer here.
Yes.
So what we're going to do is, because it's a sticky dough, we need to flour our surface. And the good thing about this bread is it does not have to be a particular shape.
That is good.
Yes, that's good. So we'll get a dough
This
ball
one?
there. Yep.
Okay.
And then you can flatten it out with your fingers.
With my fingers.
Yep. And then you can use the rolling pin there and just roll it out, just a little bit, up and down.
Up and down. Well,
Yeah, we can put some more flour in there if we need to.
yeah, maybe some more flour would be good. Oh, here it goes.
Brilliant. Okay, we can stop right there.
Okay. Oh, I'm just getting going.
And it is, look,
She's
it's
got
looking
warmed up.
authentic already. It's brilliant.
It is looking authentic.
So what we do is when you hold this dough up, you pull it with your fingers, and the weight of it will drop it down. Therapeutic, I must say. So,
pass them down here.
yeah.
I know. I need some therapy.
And then what I would do is just very lightly roll your pin over it again.
Very lightly.
Yeah,
I'm not good
just-
at light.
That's
I'm
brilliant.
good at heavy and hard.
That's
Oh my
good
God,
too.
don't
Look
tell
at
it too
that.
much.
That's
Okay, listen.
excellent. So now what we're going to do, and that's perfect. I mean, that is very good. Excellent.
Wow.
All right, so when it comes to
All
cooking
right, you
it,
did a
And
good
then
job.
what?
So what we're going to do is we're going to brush this with some water. And what that will do is when the naan comes into contact with a hot cast iron pan, it creates steam.
Oh.
And it just helps it cook a little quicker.
so just plain water.
Plain water.
Okay.
This should be nice and hot. I'll turn it up a
Great.
little bit more. We're going to get smoky, guys.
That's
so
all
no
right.
worries.
We're not afraid.
Let's go for it.
all right. And then, okay.
There we go.
And
a little
that's it.
sizzle.
Yeah, so now if you watch, you'll see bubbles coming up in a minute. And
How
the bubbles
long-
are the yeast.
The bubbles are the yeast, you said?
Yeah, the yeast working. So you'll see in a minute.
Oh,
Can
I
you see the
see.
bubbles
Yeah.
there?
Oh, those
There's-
bubbles, yes.
Yeah.
How long would you cook this on each side?
Literally, I'm going to give it like a few more seconds.
So it's not long at all.
No, not long at all.
I feel like anything that only takes a couple of seconds is something right up my alley that I can do.
But this
Perfect
is a little
timing
more
for you.
complicated.
Yeah.
So, Deepa, where in Indian culture is naan served? I know I've always had it on the table, but is
Yeah.
it served right when you sit down, or does it come with the meal?
Well, it's a bread, isn't it? So it's used to scoop up the curries. So each
Okay.
culture has bread. And this seems to be the one that they serve in Indian restaurants because of the tandoor. Seems to make it so nice and fresh and,
Yes.
and brown. So
Well, this is
All
great.
right, well,
that
we
you
are
can do it
nearing
at home.
just a little bit of time left.
Yeah.
So, Bobeth is working on the garlic butter.
Yep.
This whole recipe is on mysuncoast.com. You go to our dining dining page.
You can smell it there.
It smells amazing. We're going to keep the party going. Nate,
And
thank
then
you so
can
much for
brush
joining
this.
us.
Glad to be here.
Always great to have you.
Thank
Great
you
things
for
happening
the
at West Coast Black Theater. And you can find out more about Chef Deepa from the Indian Table on Facebook. All right,
And then
we're going to
that's
keep
done.
working on our naan. You take some time. Enjoy the Suncoast view.